All right, so we are going to go over the warm-up questions for the week of October 5th through October 8th. Question number 1 says, what is the first step when using a microscope? So A says, place the microscope slide on the stage. That is not the first step. Because there are other steps that we have to do before that, before we even get to looking at the image. So A is not correct. B, plug in and turn on the microscope. Since we are using light microscopes, yes, we need electricity, so we need to plug it in and turn it on in order to be able to see anything. So B is looking like a good choice for us. C, switch to the low power objective lens. Yes, that's one of the very first couple steps, but it's not step number 1. We can't see anything unless it's plugged in and turned on. And D, secure the slide to the stage clip. So it's one of a later step, but again, we need to turn on the microscope and turn on that power source and the light source so we can see whatever we want to look at. So B as in boy is the correct answer here. 2, what microscope part regulates how much light passes through the stage? So A, the light source mirror. That is the source of our light, but is not what regulates how much light is going to pass through the stage. B, the stage. The light is going to go through the stage, but again, the stage isn't regulating how much light. The diaphragm. The diaphragm is located on the bottom part of the stage, and you're able to twist it and turn it to be able to regulate how much light passes through. So yes, C is looking like the correct answer, and D is the base, which just holds the whole microscope together, and it's used for carrying it. So it's not D. The answer is C, diaphragm. 3, what part of the microscope do you look through? The objective lenses. So the objective lenses magnify the image, but in a sense, you do need to look through it, but it's not the part where you're not putting your eye to the objective lens to look at the slide. So it's not A. B, the eyepiece. The answer is kind of in the part. You put your eye up to the eyepiece. That's what you're looking through. So B is looking like a good answer choice. C, the body tube. That's the tube between the eyepiece and the objective lenses. So it's not where your eye is going. And then D, the nose piece. The nose piece is connected to the body tube and the objective lenses, but again, that's not where you're placing your eyes to look through the microscope. So the correct answer is B as in boy. 4, what type of microscope do we use in the classroom? So I said it before just a few moments ago, but I'll say it again. Our light microscope, that's where we're plugging in our source, turning on the light, or using a mirror to reflect or refract our light to illuminate our sample. So A is looking like a good choice. A transmission electron microscope. Again, these ones are harder to come by and are used to see super, super, super small objects, not something that we're going to use in class. Same with C, our scanning electron microscope. We're using electrons to scan the surface of an object to get the 3D layout of our specimen that we want to look at. Again, not something that we're going to use in the classroom. And then the scanning acoustic microscope, we're using sound to display an image, and again, we're not using this one in our classroom. The answer is A. Number 5, what is the difference between magnification and resolution? So magnification is the ability to distinguish between two objects, where resolution makes an image bigger. I think it's the opposite. So magnification, you think of like a magnifying glass, you're making things bigger so you can see it. So not A. B, magnification makes an image smaller. No, when we're magnifying, we're making it bigger. So it's not B. And resolution is how fuzzy an image is. Well, no, resolution is to distinguish between two objects. So we're looking more at clarity, not fuzziness. So it's not B. C, magnification is how fuzzy an image is. Again, we want clarity, not fuzzy, and then makes an image smaller. The whole point of a microscope is to be able to see things that we can't see with our naked eye. So we don't want them to be smaller, we want them to be bigger. So not C, and then that leaves us with D as in dog. Magnification makes an image larger. All right. The whole point of a microscope is to look at objects that are small and can't be seen with the naked eye. And resolution is the ability to distinguish between two objects, right? So we're talking about clarity and to be able to see two different objects instead of thinking they're all part of one. So D as in dog is the correct answer for question number 5. All right, moving on to October 7th and 8th warm-up questions. The first question says, which statement about plant and animal cells is true? So we know that plant cells have a couple organelles that animal cells do not. So let's go through them and see which one is which. So plant cells have a nucleus and a cell wall. Well, yes, we know that plants are eukaryotic, so they have a nucleus and they have a cell wall, which gives the plant structure. Animal cells do not have either of these structures. Well, animal cells are eukaryotic, so they have to have a nucleus. So A can't be right. B, plant cells have a cell wall and chloroplast. All right, so chloroplast is where our photosynthesis occurs because plants are autotrophic and they need to make their own energy. So that sounds right. Cell wall, again, is what gives the plant its structure, so that's sounding correct. Animal cells do not have either of these structures. So animals are typically heterotrophic, and so they don't have chloroplast. We don't need chloroplast. And then cell wall, again, that's a organelle that is specific to plant cells. It gives the plant its structure. Animal cells have cell membranes, but not cell walls. So B is looking like a pretty good answer choice. C, plant cells have a cell wall and a cell membrane. That's true. They have a cell membrane and a cell wall. Animal cells have a cell wall, but not a cell membrane. It's vice versa. Animal cells have a cell membrane. They don't have a cell wall. So C is incorrect. And D is in dog. Plant cells have chloroplast and mitochondria. Well, yeah, chloroplast, again, that's where photosynthesis occurs. In mitochondria, that's that powerhouse of the cell. Plant cells have our mitochondria. But animal cells have chloroplast but don't have mitochondria. Again, those are switched. Our animal cells definitely have mitochondria. That's where our cellular respiration occurs. But we don't have chloroplast because, again, animals are typically heterotroph and they are consuming their food to get energy. They're not making it. So we don't need chloroplast. So the correct answer is B as in boy. 2. Which structure is responsible for allowing materials into and out of an animal cell? So if I'm thinking about things that are going into, so they're going into the cell, and things that are coming out of the cell, I'm thinking about what's that boundary on that cell. And so the nucleus, that's found inside the cell. It's more of the brain. So I'm not thinking it's the nucleus. Mitochondria, that's where cellular respiration occurs. It's our powerhouse of the cell. So I'm not thinking it's mitochondria. Cell wall. Cell wall is a boundary, but it's for a plant cell, and we're thinking of an animal cell, so it's not C. And then cell membrane. Cell membrane is a border around of our cells, and so yeah, D is the correct answer. 3, the picture to the left depicts what type of cell? So if I'm looking at this cell and some of the organelles, okay, so it has a nucleus, it's eukaryotic. We have some cytoplasm, holds our organelles. Let's see here. Here's a cell membrane. Nice. So it has cell membrane surrounding it. Has chloroplast. Chloroplast, I know, to me, indicates that photosynthesis is occurring there. This autotrophic, they're making their own energy. And so I'm thinking this has to be a plant cell. And then if I'm also looking at it, it looks like it has a cell wall. So this must be a plant cell. So A would be my correct answer, because I know that animal cells, they don't have chloroplasts. And our bacteria and our viruses, they're not having a nucleus. So it must be our plant cell. 4, what organelle is considered the brain of the cell? So this is where all the decisions are happening. The mitochondria, no, that's where cellular respiration is occurring. That's where we're fueling and powering our cell. The nucleus, so that's where all of our genetic information or DNA is stored. So it holds a lot of information. So when I'm thinking about the brain, it holds a lot of information. I'm thinking maybe it's the nucleus. Cell membrane, I know that's what's regulating what goes in and out of the cell. So it's not necessarily the brain, it's more of security. And my vacuole, that's my storage. my storage unit. That's where I'm holding all my my waste and water. So I'm going back here to B. I'm saying nucleus is the brain of the cell. And last question, what organelle is considered the powerhouse of the cell? The mitochondria, that's where cellular respiration occurs, and where our cell is getting its food, its power. So I'm thinking it's A. Nucleus, we just talked about nucleus being the brain of the cell. The cell membrane is what's regulating what comes in and out of the cell, and our vacuole is more storage for the cell. So I'm going to A, mitochondria. All right, and so that's the review of the warm-up questions for the week of October 5th. Please feel free to reach out to your teacher if you have any questions.